A lot of us actually live for action packed scenes and crave to go to the theaters, just to experience that thrill. The irony is that all the credit goes to the actor, whereas the actual unrecognized hero is the stunt artist. Join me today as I speak to Sanober Pardiwala, Bollywood stunt woman for many stars like Aishwarya Rai Bachchan, Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Taapsee Pannu, Anushka Sharma, Vidya Balan, and Huma Qureshi. A black belt in karate at the delicate age of 12. Her skills include, oh my god, the list is too long. It's MMA, precision high-speed riding for cars and bikes, high cable falls, underwater stunts, deep sea diving, glass-breaking stunts, fire stunts, and so much more. It's just mind-blowing. She has also undergone the Shaolin Temple training in China, which even soldiers dread taking up. Sanober has been nominated several times and even won the Taurus World Stunt Awards, which is equivalent to the Oscars in the arena of stunts. She has worked with 145 movies, including Hollywood films like Slumdog Millionaire and A 100-Foot Journey. From this conversation, I learned how it's like to be at such a high risk every time you perform, and the importance of having a plan B, regardless of whichever career you choose. Sanober shares hilarious behind-the-scene moments on film sets, so if you're the kind of person who likes watching them, then you should totally listen to this conversation. Hi Sanober, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How has it been these days? I'm sure with the lockdown, the industry has taken a hit, so how has it just been?
Well, it's been good, crazy at the same time. People are now wanting to finish shoots. So they are wanting to finish everything, which, a lot of projects were pending.
Right.
A lot of movies were in the making. And so, yes, I have like 6 upcoming films already in the pipeline.
So what is your schedule like daily? What do you like? How is your work going on?
Oh, I wish I could, really have a good schedule with having a life in Bollywood. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that
But
okay.
yes, no. No matters how much you schedule, there are always last minute errands and last minute rescheduling and things like that. So you have to be very good at multitasking and management level. You have to be very good at it.
Which you are. That's great.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, so I just had a question. So we were reading up about you and we came across the fact that you started at the age of 12, and that was the age where you realized that, you want to be a stunt woman. So would you say that was like the defining moment? What led you into that journey? Like, was there some role model that inspired you or something like that?
So, well, when I did my first shoot, at that point in time, I realized that I was very good at doing also what I was doing.
Okay.
I could understand the camera angle. I could understand why are we doing a retake? Why is the lighting actually getting me to do the entire somersault all over again? And how does it matter? I did the somersault very perfect, but what came to the camera that had to, make me do it all over again? So with all of those understandings, I realized that I was good at it. I was a natural and at the same time good at it. So I realized why not, make it my profession also. Because I guess that is the whole idea of education, and to understand your strengths. And when you do, why not make it your strength and your profession?
Yeah, passion turned into profession kind of a thing, which is
Absolutely.
Great. Right. So when you spoke about the camera angle and not taking a retake, could you emphasize a little bit on that for our audience? Like how it's essential to do the stunt well, but at the same time too, I remember you saying covering your face in some interview before. So if you could throw light on that.
So, well, I'll give you a very good example. We were shooting for this film Ravan, and on that, I was on the top of a mountain, and the mountain had a belly. So it wasn't a straight mountain; it had a belly, and then it had a concave belly. I had to jump from this top, going all the way, pushing myself out so that I don't hit on the belly, and then down. So this was a free fall. Now, in this free fall, there were many elements that had to be taken place. So, no matter how perfect I would give that leap and however perfect the cable, the rigging, and everything would be in place to fall and give a free fall and stick just before the floor or before the ground, there were many factors that took place. So, we did that shot 13 times and we got that one take. And that was only because once, so we were shooting in the rainforest. So sometimes the cloud would just go away and it would become super sunny. So the
Right.
moment I would jump, the cloud would go away and the entire lighting of the continuity of that scene would have
Oh
changed.
my God. Okay,
So it
so
wouldn't. So it
yeah.
would be in a dark, gloomy zone, and then suddenly when she jumps, how
Yeah.
is it sunny and not gloomy?
Right. So
So
that
see, that's how the
continuity.
lighting plays a major role. Yes.
Okay.
Then there are
Yes.
times because you're jumping and it's so much in high speed, your body accelerates and goes down in under 5 seconds, 200
Right.
feet down and stuck. So at that point in time, the camera has to precisely follow and capture you in the fall. Now, let's say the camera misses or the
Okay.
focus of the camera shifts.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You can't go halfway and then come
Right.
back. You'll still be going all the
Going
way
down.
200 feet down. And then you'll be dragged all the way 200 feet up
Oh my
to do
God.
the retake.
So does having a conversation with the cameraman or whoever's taking the shot beforehand play an important role that okay, I'm gonna be doing
Not
it this way?
really,
No.
no. Because even if I had a conversation with the cameraman, I mean, sometimes the camera's focus just gets off. Even on a normal recording phones,
Right.
if you see sometimes you take, sometimes you're just zooming. Oh, why is this object blurred? Acha,
Yeah.
nahi, I'll take it this way.
Right.
So you see, sometimes these human errors happen. And even if it's not a human error, sometimes it's just external. It's the climatic
Right.
factor. It's something or the other that just keeps happening. And you have to just take a deep breath. All right.
Oh my God.
One more time. Fingers crossed. Visualized. Everything running in the same positive
Right.
direction perfectly. And then
Okay.
you do it again.
I can imagine you must be having a lot of patience, first of all, to keep that same shot again and again and again, which is crazy. A lot of respect.
And the same amount of energy because
Yeah,
once
exactly.
you do it, twice you do it. Now, if it's an underwater sequence, see, for the first go, you can hold your breath for a minute and a half. The second go, your capacity will reduce. Now
Okay.
you're wearing heavy costumes. Then you're wearing
Yeah.
wigs when you're shooting underwater to help you sink and go to the bottom.
Right.
And then there are so many things that you have that those factors kind of also reduce your physical productivity to perform.
Got it. Right.
And yet you have to perform exactly the way you performed with the energy on the first day. Don't forget.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So while you were speaking, you mentioned about visualize. So do you also believe in the law of attraction and manifestation? Do you use that for your shots or no?
Yes, I do. In fact, before every stunt, I use this technique where I can visualize my entire stunt for myself. So unless and until I can't visualize it, I wouldn't be doing it.
Okay. So like that's a
With every little
prerequisite.
step. So
Okay.
yes. So every movement, every step is done with a good amount of practice. Yes, first physical practice,
Right.
and then before when you're actually performing, there's a lot of visualization also done on it, so that when you visualize, or let's say when you memorize it,
Right.
even if there is a scope of error, it's straight flashed in front of you.
Right. Got it.
So that is where we remove the margin of errors from the stunt, and that is how I remove those margin of errors if I find any, and try and improvise and perfect it to the best level and the best possibility that we can.
Okay. So have you had one take shots? How is it?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Again, so the same cliff jump in Ravan that I was talking of. So there was this, now after jumping from the 200 feet, there was another 250 feet mountain through which she goes through rocks, trees, branches,
Okay.
rocks, trees. And that coincidentally was a one-take shot.
Wow.
Was a scary shot also, because when you were standing up on the mountain, 250 feet up, below was a river. So no matter how much they screamed in the mic for me to go for action, I couldn't hear them 250 feet up.
So how did you know that, okay, now like they've said action? What was the sign?
They were constantly screaming and I wasn't even reacting, because naturally I couldn't hear a single thing. You cannot hear a single thing when you're that high and there is a river below. So the river sound and all of those sounds with mountains and valleys, voice travels in different directions.
Exactly.
So it doesn't reach you at that high altitude. So what do? Then they realized that I couldn't hear them. They also figured this science out, and they had to send someone all the way up on the mountain to tell me with a walkie-talkie that we are calling action for you. So in the meanwhile, I am in my full clothes hanged 250 feet up, trying to visualize every branch, every rock that I might fall on, every branch. How do I fall from here? There is a body language also when you fall, and you have to make it look more real. Like as a stunt artist, I would be very defensive in falling. But as an actor's performance, you can't be defensive.
You have to show that you've got hurt. Right.
Yes, to show you've got hurt. But at the same time, you have to be passively defensive, wherein you show you've got hurt, but you haven't actually.
So you are an actor by yourself.
Why are these guys hanging me for so long? It had been like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And
oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
Isn't there something wrong with them? And
so
they're
10
like,
to 15 minutes, you were looking at the river, like with your face down at that height.
River, trees, rocks, branches, all of it. And then I was like, after a while, I was even looking at the monkeys in the trees. Because I didn't know what else to do. And just hang there. What do you do? Nothing. You can't. Even if you wanted to do something, what could I do? Where do I go?
Right. So at that point in time, then they gave you the walkie-talkie, and that was your signal, like to communicate with.
That was the signal. They were like, "Why aren't you starting?" And I'm like, "I can't hear you. When am I supposed to start?"
Oh my God.
And that's how we realized. And then that was that one take shot.
Oh, lovely. At least that happened in one shot. So then didn't have to go. So is this because of a lack of equipment, or what is it? It's just that this was
not really.
Sometimes,
no, this, not everything can be. So normally when we jumped off the other waterfall, we could hear each other.
Oh, so it's the factors around that play a role.
You kind of, mentally also think that even here you would be able to hear me.
Right.
But since that was a different location and we were on top of the waterfall, and this is where I was, the entire crew was 200 feet below.
Right.
And I was 250 feet up. So that made a huge difference.
Got it. Okay,
but so these are human things. Like sometimes we feel that we can hear them, and they already had a big speaker, they had a volume mic, in which they scream. So I mean, everyone presumed that you can hear it.
Oh my God.
Now see, no one's a scientist. We are all media. Like nobody would understand voice science to understand that the voice might not go through.
But do you think that in Hollywood they would go prior to that set and just check out the climatic condition and just take some?
He did that. No. I'll tell you what. So no, it's not like that. Even in Hollywood, so I've worked for a couple of Hollywood films, and I've worked with a lot of Hollywood action directors too. And guess what? This is how it works. Over there also, it is nothing like, there is always trial, error, and getting better.
Okay, so there's no blueprint as such which can be said.
There is no like 100% blueprint to a stunt, because see, each stunt is different and you have to get better with each stunt. So even if I have 20 years of experience today, I would still do the basics. I would still start with the core scratch of doing it. Then I would, even if I've done that stunt before, I would still redo every single bit and particle to make sure that, if something's changed, even one factor is changed, is where we have that room of error and we can rectify it.
Got it. Okay. So just how you've gone over this stunt of the waterfall, like you dropping over it. The other thing, could you give us a behind the scenes angle of any other stunt that you want? Pick whichever movie, and give us the camera angle, your angle, and that perspective, not as what we watch in the theater, something like that.
Okay, so there was this one sequence where I had to ride a bike for Doom for Aishwarya Rai.
Okay, yeah.
So in that sequence, the entire thing was pretty difficult, wherein I had Ritik turn all over on the tank of the 1000cc, and I was riding the bike. So that is again a very challenging sequence, because you have the actor who's held so much of faith in you, and Ritik is a wonderful person. He's a sweetheart, I would say, very down to earth and a very kind person. But yes, apart from that, you kind of have to make sure that you are, taking good care of making sure that there is no room for error at all with a 1000cc bike. Let's not forget the 1000cc bike. 1000cc.
I know.
So that is one factor of it. So then there are so many factors. And then when you shoot a running bike with a camera, it again changes.
Okay.
So what happens over there is there is a entire Jimmy Jib which is loaded with camera. Now that is right bang in front of you, one on the side, one in front of you. So you have to kind of, and that low loader, the driver of the low loader and me, we both have to be very coordinated with each other.
Right.
Because there are times when you're only, let's say, very few inches away from the camera. So let's say the camera is here from the truck loaded and, the whole thing is, picturing and following in, the way the camera is moving on a film. It also is very important for me to ride, to not avoid retake, to avoid other things. It is also very important for me to make sure that I follow the camera angles.
Oh, okay.
Wherein my face is not seen, but at the same time, the actor's face is seen. So to understand the shot is very important. To understand the scene of what you're doing is very important. Because otherwise, if you don't get that crucial, the emotion of the scene, then you're constantly, the director doesn't see it. And then naturally it just goes on and on and on.
So it's all about the angle, would you say that, along with the motion, like while you all are...
Oh yes, angle, motion and precision. So being a precision rider...
Yes, could you emphasize on that a little
bit? On the tank.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you're just riding it, and then you have to make sure the person doesn't fall. Plus, you have to make sure you don't crash into the camera.
Yeah.
Because the camera is also constantly moving. So you have to not ride it because the way you're supposed to ride it, even if you had to in real life, but you have to be very mindful of the camera. So let's say he's sitting here and I'm riding like this, and the camera is on that end, and that camera is zooming in towards us. I would not even be able to see it.
Oh, okay, got it.
So that precision, that driving precision is very important.
So where did you go for a special training for all of this, or how did you undergo all this? Yes, okay.
So when I was 12 years old, I was already a black belt in karate. And as I started growing up, I obviously enhanced my skills. Today, I am an advanced level deep sea diver. So I do a lot of underwater stunts also. I'm a bike rider. I have won a couple of kart races. So I also do a lot of car stunts and drifts. I am also a skydiver, paraglider.
So where did you go and how old were you during all of these? Like, you must have gone specially for training, right? How old were you at that time?
So, as I said, black belt in karate is when I was 12 years old. It started when I was in my 3rd grade, and then it just went on. So it went on and on and on. And then with each growing years, with each shoots coming in, I have, kind of enhanced, because you see, when you are good at a subject, let's say I'll give you some academic example. So let's say you're good at singing. So you would, want to pursue singing. You would want to join classes for singing. You would, pick and choose, and, you would obviously continue with your academic career, but at the same time have your extracurricular activity
100%.
going on. So this was something similar that even I did, as and when time allowed, and as and when I had the opportunity. I studied. I learned skydiving. So skydiving that I've learned is from the Indian Army officials. Ex-officials from Indian Army, and out of 5 civilians, I was the one. I hold the record for doing the hat trick jump.
Oh wow! Okay. And how did you approach your parents? I know they must have been a little apprehensive, but over time, did you convince them, or how was it?
Well, they think that I have lost it sometimes, and most of the times they're proud of me. Sometimes they think, oh, she's totally lost it. She's crazy. But yes, this bargain just keeps on going. And about convincing them, well, they have kind of seen my side of it. They have seen how I perform. They have seen how I have been, growing in these years and, moving around in these years. So that is where they have always been very supportive. They have never been on a zone where, no, you can't do this. They would be always on a zone where you can do this and make sure that you do the best in what you do.
That's a very good thing, right? Don't settle for anything less than best. That's a nice thing.
Yes, that is one thing that they have made sure. So be it my stunt career, be it my fitness training, be it my, mental health career, whichever version, they have always pushed me to do my best.
That's lovely. So you're a nutritionist and a clinical hypnotherapist.
Yes, I am an exercise physiologist also, which is where I train people. So the days I'm not doing stunts, and let's say stunts is not a 30-day work. So
Right.
apart from performing stunts, I also train actresses. I've been training several actresses for action and for fitness. And I also train people for fitness, people in and around Bombay, in
Okay.
Bombay actually, and around me. And yes, so I am an exercise physiologist, a nutritionist, and I have completed my doctorate in clinical hypnotherapy.
Okay, so is this because of the fact that there's no regular source of income being a stunt woman, or this was
Oh
just
yes,
another passion that you have?
so it is both, I would say. Being a stunt artist is not a regular source of income. Yes, agreed. But at the same time, I have always been drilled since childhood to be independent for myself. So I was very
Yeah.
small. I was 9 years old when I lost my dad. And
Oh, okay.
so I understood the importance of being independent also, and from a very young age. And that is where I've realized that when I was 16, I realized that how long would I be able to do stunts, because I had
Right.
seen people for the dumbest of the things getting paralyzed in front of me.
Okay.
I've seen them getting, and they were the only bread earners for their families. So I've seen their lives kind of crash. See, if you die, it's a different story. But if you are the sole bread earner and your entire
Yeah.
family is dependent on you, and then when you're no longer the bread earner, it's a total different ball game. So I've seen that happening in front of my eyes, and that is where I realized that no, I had to have some form of other profession which I would have for myself,
Right.
and that's where I took interest. I realized what else was I interested in, because stunts again, you have physical limits. Now at the
Yeah.
age of 50, you can't jump from 20 feet and not expect to have
Right.
a injury.
Right. Right. That's there.
So yes, that is where I realized that yes, I needed some other things which would, kind of help me in the future and in the long run. Also being realistic, and that's where I, understood that my passion also lies in understanding the human body, understanding the physique part of it, and that's where I studied exercise physiology for fitness training. I
That's
trained
lovely.
people, and then along with that, I studied nutrition. With doing that, I also realized I started training people when I was 18, when I finished my courses,
College.
and I
Okay.
started training people, and I got a wonderful range of people to train from. So from a 6-year-old kid to a 80-year-old man.
Oh wow. Okay. And you were only 18.
So
That's wow.
yes, and I was only 18 at that point in time, and I have treated cases with muscular dystrophy, and I've reversed even muscular dystrophy.
Wow.
So that has also been a very successful zone of it. So along with that, that's when I realized that I also understood with that practice, I understood how much mind is important. So what's on
Right.
your mind is also on your body. It reflects on your body, no
Right.
matters what you do. So that's where I studied clinical hypnotherapy, which involves a lot of mind work in terms of counseling addictions, in terms of a lot of healing, inner child regression therapies, and many more.
Yeah. No, so since you spoke about your body, and like your body is your main asset over here to maintain the physical part of it. So
Hmm.
what is the scene like in Bollywood? Do agencies get you insured for life insurance and all? What is like the backup?
Well, you have to have your own backup, basically. So there is
Okay.
nothing, I mean, you can't rely on a producer or you can't rely on a director for your injuries, because at the same time, see, you're hired to do a particular job, and that is exactly how it is. So you have to have your own mediclaim, which I do, and I also have my own life insurance, and that is it.
That's okay. And do you have some specific or some special body features or configuration which allowed, like, which was an X factor for you to become a stunt woman?
Yes, so I had my reflexes very sharp. My
Okay.
reflexes were very sharp at the age of 12 because of my karate and swimming background. So I
Hmm.
was also a very good swimmer, and I've won several swimming competitions through YMCA.
Okay.
So yes, I was, so that worked in my favor and it sharpened my reflex. Stance is all about reflexes. It's all about your reflexes as to how sharp you are in that moment of something going wrong. So
Hmm.
everything you plan can always go the way you planned,
Right.
but there is also a possibility of error. And
Right.
how you react in that split second is the
Can be
crux
a,
of it.
yeah, right. Wow. So that, and
And you don't have to get injured.
yes, exactly. And I remember you mentioning you have a low heartbeat rate or something like that. What was that?
Yes, so I also have a low heart rate, which really helps me focus. So when you are about to jump off a cliff, your heart
Hmm.
rate naturally
Right.
increases. Your body has this adrenaline which pushes in, because it tells you, adrenaline is your sign of not fear, but also telling you, hey, that's
Yeah.
danger. What are you doing?
Right. Right.
Pushes you. So that way it kind of works in my benefit, because with my fitness levels and everything that I do, I have a slower heart rate. So because my heart rate is slower, even when the adrenaline pumps in, my heart rate shoots up a little more, not too much, but a
Not
little
too
high,
much
which
compared to
brings
the
it to a
average.
normal rate.
Okay.
Yes, not compared to the average. And that is also what gives me the upper hand to it.
That's lovely. So when I read about you undergoing Shaolin Temple training in China, could you tell us a little bit about
Yes.
that?
Well, that is also one of the toughest training in the world, wherein
Yes.
you are performing, and this is one training that kind of kills you, rebuilds you, kills you further, then again builds you further, and then again kills you. So it's like a never-ending
Cycle.
process.
Okay.
Every single muscle and every single I think muscles that I didn't even know existed started
Oh
hurting
my
me,
god.
and I would be like going back to my physiology days. What was it called? What was that internal intramuscular thing called? I was going back to those times, and yes, it was, I think, one of the toughest trainings. I learned 3 weapons over there. I learned a lot of kung fu over there, and it also kind of makes you mentally very strong.
Mentally, yes.
Nothing is impossible.
Right. There's that conditioning that happens physically and mentally, I think, if I'm not
Oh yes,
mistaken.
it does. It does. So for an entire month, I've only eaten boiled cabbage and rice as lunch. So my lunch for an
Oh
entire
my
month
god.
was boiled cabbage.
Okay.
My dinner for an entire month was egg on tomato, and that is the only thing that I could eat.
Okay.
My dinner was that, and they said that I could make it, but they claimed that they made different food each day, but it was always the
The
same.
same.
It was always the same. Always the same.
I wanted to know what is the role of a stunt rigger? Like, I've researched a little bit about it, but could you give us your perspective and how important they are?
Hmm. Well, a stunt rigger is very important because they are the ones who rig the entire stunt. So
Okay.
even when you're jumping off the mountain, you're on cables and you're on the harness and you're on everything, right?
Right.
So they are the ones who rig it.
Okay. Get you
They
back
are
to
the
the
ones who kind
position.
of get the entire, yeah. So the entire cable, which is connected to a fan descender, then it is connected up to a pulley, and that pulley is carrying my weight. So what speed and what precision and the angle of it. So my body doesn't have to, kind of depending on how the body language is and the angle
Right.
is. So the whole thing is rigged by a stunt rigger.
And each movie set you get different stunt triggers, or do you have a
Of
few
course.
in
So
Bollywood? Okay.
we have some very good ones in Bollywood too, and we have some very great equipments also. So yes, I do have my own team, and then mostly it's always the team of the action director who
Right.
you're working with, also who has their own set of stunt triggers.
Okay. And which is that one stunt which even you perhaps like even your heart started beating faster and you got your adrenaline all high, or you yourself consider it dangerous? Have you had any
Well,
stunt like that?
there have been many stunts that we've been very lucky with. So there was this Mahindra stunt. This was a Mahindra Logan ad which we had done a couple of years ago, and
Okay.
we were shooting in the middle of the desert. Now, from the helicopter, I had to rappel down to a truck. The truck and the helicopter both are running at the speed of 80 kilometers.
Oh my god.
The
Okay.
distance, the height between the truck and the chopper is 80 feet. I had to rappel down the rope 80 feet onto the running truck in
Okay.
the 3 by 3 feet platform, in that precise platform. So
Yeah.
yes, there were times that, and both sides of the highway. So this was in the middle of desert, somewhere in Alain or Russell Khema, somewhere around
Okay.
there is where we were shooting, and we had a sandstorm. Now see again that you can't predict.
Right. That
You
is
can't predict that. So just the moment when the chopper took off and I jumped off the chopper, they got aligned. And when I just jumped off the chopper, we realized there is a sandstorm. Now, there is no point rappelling all the way down. And my chopper guy said, just hold on. Like, we had sign signals and we had the transparent glass towards their leg side, is where I could even look at him and understand that, we are in a problem. What do we do? So he's like, hold on. Don't go down. So I understood that sign and I was just holding on, rappelling. Where else would I go? I can't go up, I can't come down. Where
She
else
was
do you
stuck
go?
there.
So I was just holding on to the rappel rope, 80 feet above the floor. And this guy, because there were two high tension cables going parallel from the side of you, we were in between. He had to lift all the way up, make sure that I don't bang in with the high tension cable. So he had to actually elevate it, go higher, then go off. So we were actually almost away from the direction of the storm. So for 15 minutes, I'm just hanging on to the rappelling rope.
And what? You were only holding it like this, that's it?
Yeah, holding on. It's a rappel rope. So you just kind of hang on to it. You don't slide down because there is a connector. You're not, definitely, I'm not hanging on with my entire body weight on one arm. No. It is in the Bollywood version. Yes, it is Bollywood version, but not the real life. You can't do that. You're definitely connected to a harness and the weight is distributed. So you don't feel the weight as much, but you kind of hold on to the rope which is lower. You grip it so that you don't slide down. The more you release it, you rappel down. Your body slides down. So that's how rappelling works. So yes, I had to hold on to that rope and as you said, do what? Nothing. Enjoy the view, enjoy the show and hope that all goes well.
Oh my God. And that also in the middle of the sandstorm.
Then I had no landing space. Oh yes. And we had no landing space. Now where do I land? The chopper can keep flying in the storm also. But what about me? Where do I go? Where do I land? So he had to land me in the middle of the sand dune where there was no storm. The chopper was here. I had to rappel down on the sand dune. Then he had to go to the highway. And with that entire rope of 80 feet, I had to, kind of drape it, carry it all by myself, wearing entire leather jacket, leather inners, the harness, the leather pants, and the leather shoes, and walking in the sand dunes with that entire avatar in 45 degrees Celsius till the highway, to the chopper, because that's my only ride back.
Oh my God. Okay, this is scary.
Yes.
More than the stunt also, after that, it's like being stranded. What happens? Like, where would you go?
Nothing. You just have to hang on. I mean, hang on, and then after a while you realize, okay, let's enjoy the view. After the adrenaline eased off, this happened like 4 times. He had to land me on the sand dune. 4 times.
Oh my God. Okay.
4 times, yes. So that's how it did go. And it was great.
It was, I can imagine it sounds fun to me right now, but mentally, what is going on in your mind at that time? You kind of calm yourself down, or what goes on?
At that point in time, you have to be very relaxed. Relaxed in the sense, not physically relaxed. Yes, because there are 1,000 thoughts firing into your head at the same time. And the only thing that you can do at this given point in time is do nothing but to stay calm, calm your mind, calm yourself. And at the same time, I had explained to you about the crux of performing the reflexes. You have to kick that in and you have to go with the movement or the need that is needed.
Got it. So that also you'll get, with each experience, you'll get better.
Yes, that also you keep getting better with each time and each experience. You realize something has gone south, not planned, like the sandstorm. How could you predict it? How could you predict it? You just cannot predict that. So, okay, so we did that 9 times, and out of the 9 times, 4 times he landed me on the desert, in the sand dune. Okay, one of the times is only the storm came, not all the times. Out of the 9, only once he got the turbulence from the high tension cables. Not all the times.
Damn. Okay.
So you see, these are external factors. Like on the last day, he got the turbulence from the high tension cables from the side. All of this while, even in the storm, he didn't get the turbulence from the high tension cables.
So it's very unpredictable. Like,
it's totally unpredictable. And yes, you have to kind of plan the worst and then go ahead, because then you exactly have planned even the worst to happen. So yes, this
Right.
was on the plan thing, that what if I miss the truck? Where do I land? Where do I go? And what happens at that particular point in time?
Right.
So all of this was, we were not being pessimists, but we were just being realists as
Yeah.
to, if this happens, how do we go about it? And because we planned it and we knew how to go about it, we could.
That's why. Go. And any other incident like this? Anytime?
Well, we were doing an underwater sequence. So in one of those underwater sequences, there was this once where the rescue, I had to sink wearing a sari all the way down 20 feet, sinking, 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 sinking. And now when you reach 20 feet down, your lungs are totally out of oxygen.
Exactly.
There is no way
Right.
to breathe. The belt that you're wearing under the sari, so that it doesn't show in the camera on the costume, is also heavy. It's 4 kgs to help your body sink.
Sink. Right.
Now, and you're not even wearing those underwater goggles. So when you are not wearing the underwater goggles, what happens is everything that you see after 2 feet is blank.
Oh. Okay.
Your eyes are almost blind.
Yeah.
Simply because, yes, it can be in a diving pool, but we also have the black cloth covering the edges of the diving pool and the floor. So the black cloth
Black
kind of,
cloth.
makes it more darker, makes the water darker.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
So where do you go? Nowhere. You stay calm, you breathe, and you hope that your rescue diver comes in, gives you the breath of life right on time before you panic and gulp in some water.
Water. Right. Okay. That's crazy. Wow. Okay, so for all of this, usually the credit goes to the actor, the actress. Like,
Yes.
very. So, is it that we can become more accepting Bollywood? And how? How can actors, do they actually care that, okay, this is my stunt double, this person has done the stunt for me?
Some actors do really care, and some actors are just, craving for their own credits. So
Right.
it's each to own, and I think a lot of acceptance needs to come out over here, wherein people need to understand that not everyone is an all-rounder superhero that we
Exactly.
see in Marvel movies. And I mean, as much as we wish we had those powers, we really don't. And each individual is great for doing what they are doing.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that is how each person should carry out their profession also, and not just cross mingle into everyone's profession.
Exactly. Because in Hollywood, I'm aware that the stars, they go on stage and accept the award along with their stunt doubles at times, because they are
Oh
aware of the
yes, but
fact
that
that
is,
they've not done it by themselves. Yeah.
I wish that would happen in Bollywood, and sadly, I don't see that happening anywhere far also.
And what do you think is the reason? Is it because the actors and actresses don't want to accept it, or is it a media stunt, or what's
It is a lot of media stunt, firstly, and then it is also projected that the actress has done their own stunts. I don't understand why they project that over
why?
here, because probably it gives them more weightage, or it just gives the movie and it just gives the entire movie some more weightage, or
Right.
something or the other. But at the same time, yes, it is totally not accepted, and there is a lot of media frenzy over here, which kind of will do anything. The media publicists would do anything to kind of only promote the artist.
Oh, okay.
So be it doing their own stunts, to singing songs, to writing, script writing,
Right.
everything.
No,
So if
because
you these days you see actors are just into everything. They are into directing their own film. They are into acting. They are singing. They are
producing
doing every
everything.
possible everything. So I mean, after a while, they wouldn't need anybody who is known as an artist then.
Agreed, agreed. But like, does this affect you in the sense where you feel like you did this ever, like initially you took time to come to terms with it, that okay, you're not getting the credit that you deserve.
Yes. You have to kind of, no, it's not about the credit that you deserve. You have to understand that you are hired as a Mission Impossible Tom Cruise. So you cannot sing about the work that you're doing, because you voluntarily have accepted the mission and done the job. So that is exactly how I take it, and be with it.
Okay, and otherwise also, how do you think that? So you've narrated all these incidents, and for us it seems like all fun. But when you come back home, do you have some post trauma or something? Like, how do you deal with it mentally? Because these are stunts which require a lot of like risk. They take up a lot, and does it play after a while? Like, does it have an impact on you later on?
Well, see, you have to kind of have this on-off switch. You need to understand that you need to develop a mental switch where when you're on sets, you're totally emotionally disconnected with everything around you. Your
Mm-hmm.
personal life, your, family and everyone. So that emotional switch just has to be turned off. You
Okay.
can't bring your emotional or mental baggage to performing something which is high risky and dangerous.
Right.
Doesn't go hand in hand.
So that's what you've been using, and it's helped you.
Yes. And it's helped. So real life, we all have problems. Come on, who doesn't?
Who
Who
doesn't?
wouldn't?
Exactly.
Whose life is perfect? I would love to know that. But we all do have some or the other issues, and they just happen on day-to-day basis. They can be something as small to something nasty and major. But at the
Right.
same time, what we need to realize is we need to understand, we need to know that, when you're physically into performing, it's not a desk job wherein,
Right.
you're not at danger. But at the same time, if it's a task where you're putting physically and you need yourself 100% mentally
Right.
also, at
Right.
that point in time, you need to know that yes, your mental health is very important. Nothing should be disturbing your mental health. And hence, I mean, this really works for me wherein I switch off my emotional side to everyone and anything that I know
So
whilst
just
I'm
you and
performing.
your
Only
work.
whilst I'm performing.
Right.
Yeah,
Only
yeah. It's
yourself.
me and my work blindfolded.
That's great. Okay. And what is it that makes you never want to stop being a stunt artist? What is that one factor which probably wouldn't be there in any other profession?
I just really love doing it. That one factor is I just love doing it. Every time I'm on the harness and I'm on the cable or I'm in the water, I'm on the
Right.
bike, I'm in the car, I just love doing what I do. So even if I'm driving a car at 120 kilometers per hour, with just 3 inches away from the camera, I can do it with so much of precision and so much of perfection that I can
Right.
even do it when I have just woken up from my sleep. I would still
Oh
not go wrong
wow.
with it.
Oh
Like,
wow.
I think this is
Yeah.
something that I am good at and I love performing. So I think if I don't see myself as a stunt artist, yes, there are other careers that I do, but I
Right.
don't see myself as one.
That's lovely. So, how do you clap back at conversations that say that this profession isn't ladylike? And society usually saying that this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do. How have you dealt with it over time?
People have their respect and they are entitled to their own opinions. You
Hmm.
see, just because someone thinks of something about you or someone believes in a particular manner, it doesn't form my reality and it doesn't make me a different person or change my mind. So,
Right.
yes, depending on whose opinion it is. Let's say if you don't know a person or if you don't
Hmm.
know someone, how the hell would their opinion matter to you?
Matter to you. Exactly.
And why should it matter to you?
Yeah. The more important question is why should it matter?
Why?
Yeah.
So
Why?
if that person's opinion who you are not even aware of matters to you, then at the same time, you are the one who needs help rather than
Right.
anything else.
No, agreed. 100%.
So
And
yes, that is how I deal with it. And there are many times people have told me that this is not what a woman should do. This is
hmm.
not what a girl should do. This is not what kids do. When I was growing
Right,
and
when you were
in those
growing.
teenage years,
Yeah.
yeah. And there were different opinions, and many a times my parents were brainwashed. Though I was very
Hmm.
mentally strong-headed child,
Right.
I would end up doing only what I wanted. But yet, there were people with their opinions, and I'm
Hmm.
like, look, they don't have to live my reality. I have to. I am
That's
the one who has to live through it, and I'm the one who has to go through it. So if that is the scenario, might as well. I would listen to everyone, segregate everything that's necessary, and then think upon it for a while if the person is important to me, and if not, it really
then
never
it
matters.
And
It doesn't even, it really doesn't even matter of my opinion or of what I even think about it, because honestly, I wouldn't even think about it.
You wouldn't let yourself go into that
Why give
direction.
importance to something that is not even important or what doesn't even matter in your life?
100% makes a lot of sense. So,
Yeah.
has there been like instances where you as a stunt woman are treated differently as compared to a stunt man, like while shooting on the set or something like that? Because we've heard of instances where maybe the guy at a lesser rate is given that same stunt which a girl has to do. So, could you tell us a little bit about that?
Oh yes, this happens a lot also. So what also really happens around going around this is where there are times when guys would just rope in, and to hire a guy it's a little cheaper compared to getting a woman to be performing a stunt. And at a professional level, yes, it's
Right.
kind of a little expensive. So they would rather have a guy wear fake body suits and look like a female, add on the wig, and just get the job done.
And does that yet happen? Or
Yes, it does. Sometimes it does. It's reduced, but sometimes it does happen. Yes.
And is there any particular reason why so when it's the big movies, I'm sure they can afford even a professional
Of course.
stunt woman. But is it
Of
because they
course.
want to cut down on cost that they just make a guy do it?
Yes, it is all about cutting down cost, and it is all about, ठीक है, चलता है, नहीं दिखता है. So if it's not a big film, or it's just a small OTT platform, or it's just a small, it's just a matter of 3 seconds. छोड़ो ना. That's
the mentality, right?
Yes.
Oh my.
Yes. And you can even see it on screen. So you would see a woman would do it in a feminine body language compared to a masculine body language. You can actually see the difference.
But for them, for them that quality is not there. Got it.
Yes.
And so for you wouldn't settle for anything less than what you demand, right? So have you've come to that level, but initially how did you like make your way through Bollywood?
You have to stand your ground. You have to know, and you have to have your security. So that's where I had my alternate careers also.
Right.
So I was never threatened about losing stunts, or I was never threatened about not getting a job because I would stand up for myself. So when you function out of security, you function differently.
Right.
You perform differently, you carry yourself differently. And I have, since childhood, I've learned to stand my ground when I realize, like, I do a lot of re-evaluation and a lot of calculation in my head. But at the same time, when I realize that I am correct with what I'm doing, and I'm satisfied with my process of understanding that I'm right in what I'm doing, then I would just continue doing what I'm doing.
That's great. And so we just wanted to know if any maybe embarrassing or funny incident that's happened with an actress, or anything behind the scenes that usually people don't project, even so they show that behind the scenes part of each movie, but even if it doesn't come,
they would never show that part.
Yeah, they would never show that part. So do you have something to share about that?
Yes, there are many such funny incidences. There are times when the actress is like, okay, but so there was this one sequence where I wouldn't name her. It would just not be fair to name her. But there was one funny sequence where I had completed an entire underwater sequence for this actress, and all she had to do was stand in 4 feet of water, sink her head in, and give the expression. That's all.
Okay,
that's all she had to do. She had to stand in 4 feet. So you're actually standing in the water.
You don't even have to submerge, right?
Yeah. And there are 2 people, that is me and the other person supporting her. We both are even holding her hands. So she gets the stability.
Okay.
And the funniest question she asks us is, आप कैमरा ही ऊपर लाके शूट कर दो, मैं पानी के अंदर क्यों जाऊं?
Oh my God.
And that's not, still the funnier part is we are like, no, but it's an underwater shot. That is why we need you in the water. Like, you are still being kind and not sarcastic and answering. To which, what she says, अरे पर मैं पानी में जाऊंगी तो मेरे बाल गीले हो जाएंगे. And we are like,
Oh my God.
yes,
That
you're
is the
supposed to
point.
drown, which means your head is supposed to, get wet, and it's
Oh my God.
okay. But no. So yeah,
Wow.
we do have such funny instances, and we have to kind of, then, हाँ थोड़ा गीला होगा, She's
Yeah,
like
like,
नहीं पर पूरा गीला, and she would even go on reacting saying, नहीं मुझे लगता है पूरा बाल गीला होगा, and we're like, yeah, your head is ducked in the water, so we suppose it's supposed to get wet.
that's
So, yeah,
ridiculous.
we do get such funny things also, and we just have to, at that moment you just can't laugh at it. At that
How do
moment
you
you can't
control
do
your
anything
laughter?
else.
Like, how?
You just have to be, at that point in time, if you feel really laughing, just duck your head in the water so
Yeah,
that
go
she
in
can see.
the.
देखो इतना ही गीला हुआ, इससे ज्यादा गीला नहीं हो रहा है, देखिए ना इतना ही गीला हुआ.
Oh my
That is how you
God.
kind of put it to
Oh my God. Okay, hi Danny. Danny's back.
Say hi to the audience. Thank you.
Okay, so
Can I
another.
Can I have my session, Baba? Please. You're in my. You're in the lens.
It's
Ouch!
okay.
Why are you getting
Oh
that
my
for?
God.
So,
It's let him be.
alright.
It's cool. It's cool. Let him be. Like my whole, like the whole team when we were researching about you and the designer, we loved your character. Like so cute. Has to be in the interview.
He does that. All right. So go
Okay.
ahead.
Women are more liable to eating disorders and body dysphoria. So especially when your career depends on how you look, how have you dealt with it, like fitness wise also, and since you mentioned having that mental strength, because I'm sure at sets, supposing you've just done a stunt and you really want to eat something, you're hungry, but then at the same time there are people around you who will judge you for supposing eating something that's not particularly healthy or something. So how does it work and how do you deal with it?
Well, you have to understand first that you have to take care of your body because nobody else will.
Right.
So yes, with being a woman, there are so many hormonal changes a woman goes through comparatively to a man. Even men go through, but it's not very visible on their body comparatively to what a woman goes through. And that includes a lot of changes, hormonal disorders, PCODs. Then there are so many physical changes that a woman goes through, even weight gain. And even if a woman is diagnosed with PCOD, no matter what she does, she's not able to lose weight.
Right.
It's very difficult. Yes, you can, but it is very difficult and you have to follow the right set of things to do so. So there are so many such factors about being a woman that you have to understand that your health is supposed to be the biggest priority over everything else. So that goes with my food and that goes with everything. So I really don't care about what people think of what I eat and when I eat. As long as I know that this is right for my body and this is going to, it is great for my health and my body is what I would eat.
Okay. And usually...
And some days you are just eating something. So let's say on a set when you've just performed an extreme physical activity and, that day even you've missed a workout, but I would still eat a pizza. Simply because it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. You don't have to beat yourself up. It's okay if someone says, oh my God, she's eating a pizza. What's wrong with her? Nothing. Dude, I'm hungry. And, I'm damn hungry and I've done 100 times more what my body is supposed to do. So it's okay if I have a pizza and what I've done. So it's okay if I have a pizza and I'll burn it off tomorrow, or it's okay, my body will take care of it.
Right. Because usually...
So this never happens mostly with me. I carry my food and I carry my stuffs at the same time for myself. But yes, sometimes, there are locations, suppose if you're shooting somewhere in the middle of Russia or you're somewhere in the middle of the desert, what do you do?
Right.
So you just, at that point in time, pick whatever you have and just go with it. Sometimes you go with the flow.
Don't be too harsh on yourself that way.
Don't be so harsh on yourself. No.
Because I see actresses and they go on these crazy diets and they're always in the range of like size 2 or something. So, you being a stunt double, you will have to be along, not if exactly the same, but similar lines. So what is your...
yes.
Yeah. So do you go on such diets as well or no?
No, not at all.
No.
Not at all. I don't follow that. I have never believed in that. So I don't follow any of those fad diets. And I have my own diet plan that I have for myself. Being a nutritionist, I take care of my own diet too.
Yeah.
And no, so this is one thing I'm also against, because this also causes a lot of disruption and a lot of imbalances in your system.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And yes, it is tough for being a stunt woman, because you always have to match up that waist in size and at the
Yeah,
same time be physically strong. Plus
exactly.
get judgmented and plus get judged about being skinny and being strong.
Wrong
And if she's so skinny, will she be able to do
to do
this?
this. Yeah. It's a
So you
dilemma,
expect me to
right?
be nice and bulky and bulked up, but then you do tell me I don't match with your actress. And then
Yeah.
when I do match up with the actress, oh, you look so pretty. Do you think you can do this? So this is how it is. You have to just take it with a pinch of salt, pound of positivity, and move on.
Wow. Too much positivity I can get from the screen as well. Okay, and what would you suggest to like the young audience, even if it's a basic workout, but just to keep themselves fit throughout? Anything simple also.
Workout, exercise. Even if it is, you have to smartly exercise. You don't need to put in an hour for an exercise for yourself. Even 20 minutes is good, but do something. Move. Do something. So let's say, don't
Right.
stick to this theory of you have to work out in the morning.
Hmm.
No. You can complete, if you're doing a desk job or if you're having an office job, you can come in the evening, finish your workout as soon as you enter your home, thinking it is one more errand of the day.
Uh-huh. That's a good point.
And
Right.
then go for a good shower, and
Hmm.
then probably sit down for dinner.
Yeah, because with this intermittent
So you
fasting
don't have
coming
to
up,
wake up early
yeah,
in the morning. You don't have
yeah,
to wake up early in the morning and waste 1 hour of sleep. You could actually sleep 8 hours and yet do your workout in the
workout.
evening,
Right.
and then kind of move around. So no sacrificing sleep needed, because sleep is
Yeah.
also one crucial factor for your system.
Yeah, then when that sleep gets like, disrupted, then it's like an
You
additional
are actually
burden.
torturing the body,
Yeah.
because your body is more of thinking, hey, something's wrong with her today.
Okay, and so you've trained with Muay Thai, if I'm pronouncing it correctly,
Yes.
and
Muay
also
Thai.
Muay Thai. So which sport or which form of martial art would you say is the best for girls, for guys, for growing up kids to make them really strong?
Well, I would suggest a mix of everything. So mostly, if you ask me to rate on the top two, I would say boxing, one, and second, I would say karate.
Karate. Okay.
Yes,
And
because it
karate
kind of
involves
teaches you
self-defense as
discipline.
well.
Yes, it teaches you self-defense. It teaches you a fair amount of discipline for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, as kids are growing, it is also very important that they learn what is self-defense.
Right.
They understand, and it also makes them very confident about themselves, which is a good thing. Not just physically confident that they can defend themselves, but it just, confidence is not just a physical thing. It's also a psychological thing. So, yes, why not?
Just to end this amazing conversation, if anyone watching this wants to become a stunt artist, what advice do you have for them?
Well, physically be fit, mentally be fit, and at the same time have a parallel career.
Yeah, that's essential as
At the same time have a parallel career. Yes, very essential. Very, very essential.
Okay. Thank you so much, Sanober. I had an amazing time speaking to you. Learned a lot.
Same here.
Got so
Same here.
much, like got a lot of insights about Bollywood and all. So thank you so much. All the best for your work.
Welcome.
Um,
Yes, thank
we'll
you.
try promoting it however we can. Just one text away. Let
Yes.
me know.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. It's Azmeen, your host. If you like this, go ahead and give us a big thumbs up, subscribe, hit on the bell icon to get notified for future podcast episodes, and comment what you learned from this one. Share it with someone so we all learn, grow, and evolve together.